In this episode of Founders Go Naked, I want to share with you 3 strategies to make unprofitable webinars profitable again without knowing how to write amazing ads. So here's one of the problems that we are frequently running into with a lot of coaches in this current point of time is that they feel that they are not making their webinars profitable enough. And that is because they have this hit and miss philosophy that is more like, yeah, let's just hit this webinar hard and let's just get as much sales as possible. And then if it doesn't work, let's try it again.
That's like my date the other night. He was already asking me how many kids I wanted to have if we got married.
Yes, that's right, Debbie. So that's why it makes it such a high pressure environment that you have to sell during the webinar, and it makes you very uncomfortable, makes your participants uncomfortable. And at the end of the day, if you don't make the sales that you want, then you feel terrible. And that's just not a nice way to make money. It's pretty tough as well. And even if you are a super closer, I suggest that these 3 strategies will take your profitability of your business to the next level. So let's hop into it. The first one I want to discuss with you is to make multiple offers. So we have this client that has like a high ticket 5-figure offer. The thing is, it was hard to sell this 5-figure high ticket offer. So they started to actually introduce a lower ticket offer with an ascension model. So what that happened is they went from fluctuations in return on ad spend to consistently getting higher return on ad spend. That is because there was the opportunity for people who could not afford the high ticket offer to actually buy a lower version, like a 4-figure ticket version, which is still high ticket, of course, but it was still much easier to sell than what they originally had. So this stabilized his ROAS and made his webinars consistently more profitable. So the other thing for you to consider as well is to implement a weekly or monthly recurring revenue model where you're not trying to just to sell this like high ticket offer, but you're also making the offer so that people can just subscribe to your mastermind group or some kind of group coaching program for maybe several $100 a month, right? And they can continue on that program infinitely. And that will also help to smoothen out the cash flow in your business as well. Okay, so the other thing to consider is when you're selling that lower ticket offer is to always have an ascension model. So one of our recent clients, for example, that is just coming in right now, he has basically a low ticket offer, which is like to help businesses with their sales and marketing. Because if they solve their sales and marketing problem, that solves a multitude of problems, right? Because that is what most small businesses struggle with. And once they have solved that problem, he then offers other things, such as how to build a strong team, right, to deliver the products. Because once you make the sales, you need to deliver. And then how to systemize it in order to deliver consistently, right? So all these other solutions or these offerings come after solving one problem. So the key concept here is basically you solve one problem first, that creates the next problem, right? So lots of sales creates delivery problems. So that's where you need to hire the right people. And then once you hire the right people, you want them to repeat that consistently so that, you know, you have that consistency of delivery, and that's where the systems come in and so on, right? So have a think about what is the problem you solve and what is the next consequential problem. And that's how you build your ascension model. Okay. So I hope that makes sense.
It's like signing up for the gym, then they sell you personal training so you know how to use the equipment. Then you need supplements to burn fat faster. Then when you get a hot bod like me, you need to buy Lululemon outfits.
Yes, it's totally like that, Debbie. Thank you for your analogy. That's very helpful. So the next thing I want to introduce to you is what I call the long tail webinar strategy. And I've described this in another episode, which I'll have the link to it at the bottom of the show notes. So check it out. But the whole concept here is that instead of just selling a webinar, you offer multiple points of contact after the webinar as well. So for example, you could offer people to just get a shortened version of your webinar. You could offer people, for example, a replay of the webinar. You could offer a summarized version, a checklist based on the content of your webinar. And all these opportunities, again, open the door for another reason to communicate with the clients or the prospects using email, using SMS, and to get them to maybe a one-on-one call with you where you can pitch your high ticket offer. Basically, you're looking at multiple ways to approach the client because some clients may not attend the webinar, and as you know, maybe only 30% of prospects actually attend a webinar. What about the other 70%? You need a strategy for the remaining 70%. And that is where the long tail webinar concept comes in.
It's like going back to the same cherry and getting multiple bites of it.
And yes, Debbie, that is exactly right. Perfect. You're basically going back to get multiple bites of the cherry. And from that, hopefully you can increase your revenue, which I am sure if you implement the long tail webinar strategy that I'm talking about, you will get more revenue. And the third strategy, which we just implemented for a lot of our clients this year, is that we implemented an email marketing newsletter. So every week, what we do is that we send out bits of content on behalf of the client that is related to the topic, right? Tidbits of information, industry news, what's happening, what's new out there that they should be aware of in relation to the client's solution. So for example, if a client talks about investing, one week we might send out a newsletter talking about how the US elections is going to impact upon their investments. Right? Another week, we might talk about how dropping interest rates is going to impact the investments and what to do about it. So just short snippets of information. Number one, what you want to do here is give true value, not just sell them, right? And that is the mistake many coaches make. They just try and sell. This is not about selling. This is about educating. And at the same time, what we do is we actually do a bit of soft selling at the end. And what we do is we say, hey, look, if you're interested to find out more about how to navigate and how to invest in the coming 12 months, why not join our next free webinar coming up soon? And we get people consistently coming back to the webinar as a result of these newsletters. And remember, this is the 70% of people who did not attend your webinar in the first place. So they sign up, did not attend. So now you're nurturing them with newsletters. And you don't have to stop there because you can actually have flash sales. We have done product launches as well for our clients because we have that relationship with the prospect through that list, right? And that doesn't happen until you deliver value with a regular newsletter. I suggest minimum once a week, more if you can, but at a very minimum, once a week.
Yeah, you can. Just be asking all the time. It's just not very thoughtful and demure. You need to give, and then ask. Otherwise, people will cancel you.
Debbie, I totally agree with you. Thank you once again for helping to clarify that. So guys, those are 3 simple strategies to help you to turn an unprofitable webinar profitable, or if you have a profitable webinar, even more profitable. So I hope you use these 3 strategies, get great results, and I will see you in the next episode.